Hi, welcome to another edition of Talk with Confidence. This is where we have inspirational conversations with inspirational people. Today I have a truly inspirational guest in studio with us. He's an author and he's an entrepreneur. His name is Matome Motloutsi. Motloutsi, am I saying it right?
Motloutsi.
Motloutsi, okay. Okay, Matome Motloutsi. Welcome, Matome.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful, wonderful. I love the cover already. Very bright, very, it calls you.
Yeah, definitely.
Success designed by failure. Before we go into anything else, just tell us a little bit about that. Success designed by failure. What inspired?
What inspired the title? I remember when, we had a lengthy debate about the title because I wanted to pass on a particular message in the book. But what it entails is that the success that I have achieved was through failure. So now the society has influenced us or gave us a narrative that success and failure are the two different things, but only to find that success is part of failure and failure is part of success.
Wow.
So there's an inverse around the wording of how I came up with the title Success Designed by Failure. So I went through particular failures up until I reached my destiny, up until I reach success is in my own definition, because success also is very broad. And the things that I've managed to achieve after encountered the number of failures in my life.
Wow, success designed by failure. So obviously there is a story behind the book.
Definitely.
Tell us a little bit about that story. Where does Matome's journey start?
Well, the story is one of many that, there might be a lot of people that have went through this, but it's about how actually it affected me personally, because failure is very subjective as well. Is that people interpret our own failures differently. Your failure and my failure might not be the same, but in the context of the word failure, it's the same thing. But my failure, it was around my academic journey. I was doing matric. First track that I was a good learner. I was probably one of the top 20 or top 10.
Nice.
But then come when my results have to come for my matric, my name was not on the newspaper.
Oh man, they forgot to type your name.
I searched for my name up until where I couldn't find my name.
And you bought all the newspapers?
And I bought all the newspapers. I remember we used to have that SMS where you could SMS and get your results. I SMS. There was nothing. I was like, no, something is wrong. Yeah. And all I got was a tap in the bag. Oh, no.
It's going to be okay.
It's going to be okay. Right? But yeah, then I think that is where my journey started in terms of my failure and how I documented my story.
Wow.
It is around that time of me experiencing failure, because it was my first time failing any grade or anything.
I mean, we laugh about it now, but it's for a lot of people going through, I mean, that's one type of failure. But for a lot of people going through that type of failure, it's very traumatic. I mean, even in past years, you find the matric, people who failed matric, and people who fail maybe in the corporate, people who failed in their marriages, end up going to the extent of even committing suicide. And I believe it's informed by the deep feelings of lack of self-worth, because if I fail this, then maybe it means that I'm a failure. Can you take us through some of the feelings that you encountered around that period?
I think you mentioned a word. I think suicide was the first thing that knocked my mind.
Wow.
Obviously, I didn't know what was going on, but now I can go back and actually articulate it, that was depression. That's one thing that I felt. I felt a lot of rejection. That's what I felt, and also I was very disappointed, and I was hurt, and think emotionally. And also, even if I got a bit of support, from my family, but that support was not there. I couldn't feel it.
You didn't feel it, even though it was there.
Yeah.
But you had built a wall.
I've built a
of
wall.
Disappointment. That
Yes,
said,
and I couldn't feel it.
Oh, man.
Now the significant around that about emotion is that it's not like I can pinch you and you can feel the pain, but that off when you're feeling emotional is that you can't touch it, and that it makes it difficult, and you can't say no. You got a cut here. Let me apply something that will heal you and all that. But that off emotion is so much different.
It's deeper.
Yeah, it's deeper, and it's very deep. And along my journey in the book, I describe in terms of how that failure affected my behavior. So catch that, how that failure affected my behavior is the things that you do because of that failure, of that wound that you have that no one knows about.
It's like if somebody is limping.
Correct.
They may be able, like previously, before they got hurt, before they failed, they may have been able to walk in a particular way, walk straight, walk normally. But after they get the injury, then there's a difference in how they walk.
Yes.
So emotionally, it's like you've been hurt. Now there's a difference in the way that you behave. If you were somebody who loved to laugh, suddenly you're somebody who is a bit more quiet, a bit more reserved. And did you go through some of those types of emotional or behavioral changes?
Yes. I used to take a bottle. And and there's a saying in English, you say, don't bottle up things. But what I did, I took an empty bottle, I bottle all my emotions in there, and I make it tight.
Yeah.
That no one that tried to open that, I make it very tight, that I can't open up to people about my emotions, about how I feel. Right? So that was what I went through. I used to bottle up things. And the day I snap, it was because of the thing that I've bottled in the thing. So there was so much pressure in that bottle of my issues, of my challenges, and all that in that bottle. And the time there's pressure. The time that it explodes, no one can control me in terms of that. And also how it reflected in my relationship. It reflected in my workplace. It reflected in my behavior. Although I define myself as a nice person, but you wouldn't want to get me angry because I'll just explode. The good thing that it was not physical.
You're not violent.
I was not violent. It was just with words. With the rejection, I could easily push you away and not talk to you for months.
Because of those deep-seated
That's correct.
Dark emotions that you feel.
Dark emotions, yes.
So navigating the journey, obviously, you went back into academics.
Correct.
So tell us about the process from saying, you know what, I failed. What then prompted you to say, but I want to go back and try again?
I think it's people seeing the potential in me. That people always. I remember I used to work in a retail store. So part of working in a retail store.
Was that after the
failure?
Matric,
Yes. After the failure, then I went back and I rewrote my matric. Then I passed my matric. We'll talk about the celebration later. But going back, so in that, as I was a sales person in a retail store, as I was giving customer service. So something in me just keep on, offering a good service to my customers and all that. And they said, young man, you've got so much potential, and your understanding of things, and you are smart. Why don't you do something about your life and all that?
Wow,
I think at that time, then I started realizing that, you know what, I need to go back. I need to go back to school. I need to, let me not give up, because the next best thing is that, when people come to the store, you open accounts for them, a credit facility for them to buy clothes on credit. So they'll become a driver who is a driver of a certain company. Not that I want to discourage the drivers in that profession, but back in my mind is that, okay, I'm earning 2,000. This guy is coming with a salary of 8,000. The best thing, I should get a driver's license and become a driver. So that was
Where you were seeing yourself.
Yeah, where I was seeing myself, and exactly, it's because I was seeing that up until, you know, you need to believe in someone, and I believe in that someone planted a seed in me, and I think this book and over my career journey and all that, I've planted the seed back because someone also planted a seed in me to say, young man, you know, we believe in you and all that. Go out there.
You can be so much more than what you are right now.
Exactly.
Wow, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. And then in terms of skills and career, what did you go into?
I'm in information technology in IT.
IT.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from failing matric to IT is a jump.
It's a big jump. No, it's a big jump.
Yeah.
I remember when I got my first learnership. Is a time that, you know, we're so fortunate that I got a learnership out of my circumstances. For me, getting that learnership was like a wow. It was a second chance for me that I gave myself. Fast track that I was the best learner out of that group.
Wow.
And my achievement at the time was published. In the IT web. There's an IT web
website,
publisher website and all that. And I was published.
Wow.
Then at that time when my article was published and they're talking about me, Matome, being a top learner, performing very well in a top organization, that for me was that moment. And that in that moment, I shifted. And that moment, I started believing in myself. That moment, I started rising up. And I started being confident, you know, about myself, about my skill, about my capability, you know, where I would sit. I remember, I think I was 21 years, sitting with, you know, in a boardroom full of very experienced people, but because they say, okay, young man, come here, let's mentor you, let's grow with you and all that. For me, that was a change of, you know, that you need that particular moment. But I was given a second chance. I went to a leadership program and I studied, you know, over the years and all that. But at that time, when my article was published, for me, it was to say my name was not in a newspaper, but my name...
it replaced what you missed.
What I missed, it was connecting. Now I'm on www. I'm no longer on the Star, you know, Sowetan and those things, but I'm on www. IT web.
Amazing.
You know, in that profession. For me, that was excitement, and no one could actually identify that except because it was my excitement inside. You know,
Amazing stuff. So, I mean, some of the things that you touch on in the book is some of the mistakes that a lot of young people make. So you get somebody, they've just entered into the job market and they know they're making a decent salary and then they start spending recklessly. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, I think it's just the illness in our society that there's a word that we envy people. So envying people is that you see a particular individual driving a certain car, having a particular lifestyle, and what do we see in Kokasi, also in the rural villages where I'm from, is that we used to classify that as success. And
that was the definition of success.
That was the definition of success. We didn't know any better because we didn't have mentorship. We didn't have people that mentors to say that, no, young man, this is how you should spend on your money and all that. That for me is the thing that is a conversation that we should start having with young people. So the first thing that you want to get after you get a job, the first thing that you want to you get a car, right? The car it brings a certain element that you want to cover up. When you want to go to particular places, you want to go Minati.
You want to be that guy.
You want to be that guy. Then what happens is that you start spending on a lot of money up until to a point where you access your credit card, your overdraft and everything like that. And that what it does, I mean, experience is the best teacher. But that what it does as well is that it delays our progress in life.
Because there's so much more you could be doing.
There's so much that we could have been doing. Fast track, if I have to look back, I could have probably been having about 5 houses. Yeah. But again, and this thing is about, it's good investment that we need to talk about and all that. So, you know, we need to look at that. We need to structure that. I think we need to go back to the marketplace and also to try to impact those young people in organizations and all that. This is how you need to channel your lifestyle. This is how you need to channel your journey. This is how you need to do. And we talk about finances. You know, we talk about personal development. Because you're not there for forever. The money that you're getting, go back, invest in yourself. And we're not saying that go back and invest in Kobatswading and all that, because that's the thing that where we come and say, the black tax and all that. It's okay sometimes to invest in your personal growth first, then you can go back home, because that's very important. You know, invest in yourself, education, you know, save up money and know what you need to know in terms of progress in life. Because as I'm saying, some people, we get out of it, we learn from it, but some, they get stuck into it.
It becomes like almost like a trap of sorts.
The trap of that. And and we drown. It looks like we're drowning in a pool of debt. We're drowning in a pool of confusion. We're drowning in a pool of not knowing our purpose and our vision in life. And people live with that up until they're 40 and they're 50. And then they want to snap up. And people then... And then there's a question of there's certain elements that I've managed to pick up, is that that's why there's such things, not necessarily that is the cause of it, but it's one of the cause of it. You know, when you talk about gender-based violence, we talk about depression, we talk about drugs, you know, because you'll subscribe to those things because because of frustration.
You're looking for a way to relieve,
to escape, to escape those challenges and all that. So
you touched on mentorship in the marketplace, and in your book you speak about an organization, Marketplace Ministry Institute, MMI. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what is done for you in terms of your changing your perspective and the influence that it's had on you?
Wow. You know, in life you need a sense of direction. You need a sense of people that have walked the journey and that can say, young man, and come, let's walk with this journey. And this journey is not easy. And I think MMI is one of those things that they don't spoon feed you. And they tell you that, young man, this is the journey that we have walked, and where we talk about ethical leadership. You know, the country it's lacking that. You know, there's some people with a very good academic background, but they still subscribe themselves to unethical leadership. So such institutions, they help the society. And what that has benefited me is that to have a clear vision about myself, a clear vision about my purpose and all that, because they articulate that more during the course. And what they do is that they bring people that are living to those beliefs, to those principles, to those values, and all that. So what I took from that is that I took those values, those principles, and I started applying, because you don't go to any institution and you learn and it just and it's just theory. It's more on the application. It's more on you to say, this is how I'm deciding I'm gonna live my life. This the principles that I'm gonna adopt. This the values, because that has taught me that already. And in the process of going through MMI, and also after qualifying as a MMI graduate, things started coming to me where it wanted to question my integrity, it wanted to question my values, and all that.
You had to do deep dives
within yourself. To deep dive and say, no, this is not the teachings.
Wow.
This is not the teachings, because now you can see that without having ethical skills, that you will be caught, and hence I'm saying that in the public sphere we're seeing people who are qualified academically, but they don't have ethical. They don't have ethics. So now it comes to say, I've benefited from that. I've benefited and all that, and it also helped me in my personal life, in my family, and also how I look at life and how I apply certain things, how I make certain decisions and all that. Also, the benefits of MMI, they're endless. I think we can have a conversation regarding 100%. MMI and their values and what they stand for.
100%. From an entrepreneurial point of view, tell us a little bit about your business.
It's based on what I know. I've started this business because of my experience. It's an IT organization, and we are passionate about adding value to organizations by using our skills and also using our partners to help other organizations. And I think I've a proven record of my contribution in my field, and hence I decided to start my own company where we deal with a lot of data analytics. We're dealing with a lot of infrastructure management projects. That's what we deal of. And also the purpose is that it's also aligned with us driving and giving value back to business. And also my vision with the company is also to open up the market and also to get more young people to be part of my organizations. And we keep on knocking the doors. We keep on, putting down proposals. And we hope that the organization can grow so that we can make an impact in the marketplace and as young people, and also to collaborate, because we are collaborating with a lot of well experienced people to help us to deliver the solution.
Wonderful. Awesomeness.
Yeah.
Awesomeness. The book is Success Designed by Failure by Matome Motloutsi.
I
like that one better. Mr. Motloutsi, thank you so much. Where can people get the book?
You can get my book. We are digital. We're running an IT company. So
you have to.
So we've got an online store. It's www.matomemotloutsi.com.
Wonderful.
www.matomemotloutsi.com.
Wonderful. Guys, get the book. I've read it. It's quite spectacular. You'll get so much from it. And Mr. Motloutsi, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
Sharp.
Thank you.
That was another episode of Talk with Confidence with myself, Confidence Seleme, and Mr. Matome Motloutsi. Do join us again next time right here on Global Conference Television. Eitada.